Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Iza binti Muhammad Nuruddin with metric number 180134, and I would like to talk about the radiation carcinogenesis. So what is the definition of radiation carcinogenesis? Radiation carcinogenesis is a biological phenomenon whereby living normal cells are damaged by ionizing radiations, which starts a progressive process causing the surviving cells to change their phenotype such that normal controls of cell death and apoptosis are lost and uncontrolled cancerous growth is initiated.
What is radiation? Radiation is the name given to the energy emitted by a source. Radiation is the movement of energy through space. It is defined as the release of energy in the form of particles. It manifests itself as waves, moving subatomic particles, and also as rays.
We can differentiate radiation into two types, which is ionizing radiation and non-ionizing radiation.
Ionizing radiation. Creating charged atom and create DNA damage, outright cell death. Ionizing radiation is the radiation with enough energy so that during an interaction with an atom, it can remove tightly bound electron from orbit, causing the atom to become charged or ionized.
Alpha, beta, X-ray are some examples of ionizing radiation. It has high energy and displaces electron from its orbit.
Non-ionizing radiation originates from various sources naturally originated or man-made. This radiation refer to any type of electromagnetic radiation that does not carry enough energy per quantum to ionize atom or molecule, that is completely remove an electron from an atom or molecule. These are low energy radiation, not enough energy to pull electron from orbit but can excite the electron.
And we know that the equivalence of matter expressed as energy is given by the Albert instance, which is E equal to mc square, where E is energy, m is mass, and c is the velocity of light. Due to the nature of the radiations, they also cannot be seen or smelled.
Matter is composed of atoms, which in turn are composed of protons, neutrons, and electrons.
High energy X-rays, photons is used in industries such as diagnostic radiology and radiation therapy.
As we know, DNA in the nucleus is the most sensitive region of the cell, and damage to DNA can take place by either direct or indirect action as a result of radiation exposure.
As we can see, in direct action, the secondary electron interacts with DNA directly. In indirect action, the secondary electron reacts with water to produce hydroxyl radicals which react with DNA. Approximately 2/3 of the X-ray damage to DNA in mammalian cells is caused by the indirect action. It should also be noted that all the other types of radiation, including alpha particles, neutrons, heavy ions, and protons, have been shown to interact with DNA and cause damage that could lead to cancerous events. Coming to ultraviolet rays, the ozone layer protecting us from the UV rays. And the most carcinogenic rays are out of these three rays is UVB rays. When we are exposed to UV rays, the DNA will get damaged by forming up pyrimidine dimers. Other pyrimidine dimers will be removed by DNA repair mechanisms normally. If that DNA repair mechanisms are defective, we'll get cancer like skin cancer and xeroderma pigmentosum.
Let's take a deep dive into history of radiation. The modern understanding of ionizing radiation got its start in 1895 with Wilhelm Röntgen. In the process of conducting various experiments in applying currents to different vacuum tubes.
This discovery was followed in 1896 by Henry Becquerel's discovery that uranium salts gave off similar rays naturally.
Although it was Henry Becquerel that discovered the phenomenon, it was his doctoral student Marie Curie who named it as radioactivity. She would go on to do much more pioneering work with radioactive materials, including the discovery of additional radioactive elements such as thorium, polonium, and also radium.
She was awarded the Nobel Prize twice, alongside Henry Becquerel and her husband Pierre in physics for their work with radioactivity. She also conducted pioneering work in radiology, developing and deploying mobile X-ray machines for the battlefields of World War I.
The Manhattan Project, the crash study undertaken during World War II to develop the first atomic bomb, led directly to the second long-term study of the effects of long-term radiation exposure.
Throughout the Cold War, there was experimentation on both sides into properties and uses of radioactive material in various test reactors and related sites, looking to harness both strategically valuable offensive power of radioactive material for nuclear weapons and the potential valuable uses in other fields such as medicine, radiography, and others.
The effect which occur in human body by the exposure from ionizing radiation. When the radiation is fall on normal cell, it causes the change in DNA of cell and affect the cell. The radiation damage the tissue and also cell in the human body, and all these effect on human body by the radiation are called as biological effect of radiation.
The potential biological effect and damages caused by radiation depend on conditions of radiation exposure, which are quality of radiation, quantity of radiation, received dose of radiation, and finally exposure condition. Indirect is more complex and depend heavily on energy loss effect of radiation in the body, tissue, and the subsequent chemistry. Biological effects are two types, which are deterministic effect and also stochastic effect. Mechanism involve effect on many cells. In these, the severity of response is proportional to dose. These are cell killing occur in all people when the dose is larger enough. Deterministic effect includes acute radiation sickness and also chronic radiation sickness. Malignant disease and heritable effect, for which the probability of effect occur. Occurrence of stochastic effect is probabilistic in nature and is proportional to dose received. Stochastic effect is of two types, which is stochastic stochastic effect and also genetic effect.
My name is Nura Amirizati binti Sayuti. I am a leader for the group Gamma. Now we talk about the stage of carcinogenesis. Carcinogenesis can be divided conceptually into the three steps, which is tumor initiation, tumor promotion, and tumor progression. The distinction between initiation and promotion was recognized through study of virus and chemical carcinogens. For the stage of carcinogenesis, stage of carcinogenesis have three stage, which is tumor initiation, tumor promotion, and tumor progression. Okay, so what is tumor initiation, tumor promotion, and tumor progression? Okay, for tumor initiation, is the early concept of tumor initiation indicate the initial change in chemical carcinogenesis are irreversible genetic damage. However, recent data from molecular studies of preneoplastic human lung and colon tissue implicate epigenetic change as early event in carcinogenesis. For tumor promotion, tumor promotion comprises the selective clonal expansion of initiate cell because the accumulation rate of mutation is proportional to the rate of cell division, or at least the rate at which stem cell. Clonal expansion of initiate cell thus produce a larger population of cells that are risk of further genetic change and malignant conversion. Okay, next is tumor progression. Tumor progression comprises the expression of the malignant phenotype and the tendency of malignant cell to acquire more aggressive characteristics over time. Also, metastasis may involve the ability of tumor cell to secrete a protein that allow invasion beyond the immediate primary tumor location. Okay, now we talk about what type of carcinogenesis. Okay, we are around carcinogenesis every day, whether at work, at home, and or at play. Carcinogenesis do not cause cancer in everyone who is exposed. The ability of carcinogenesis to cause cancer depends on many factors.
For the type of carcinogenesis, have a three types: environmental radiation, lifestyle factor, and medication.
Okay, for the environmental radiation, ultraviolet radiation from the sun is a well-known cause of skin cancer. Radiation emitted from the normal uranium in the soil and the trip in homes in the second of the lung cancer. Okay, for the lifestyle factor, smoking and obesity are both carcinogens in that they are responsible for the mutation which result in cancer. Okay, for some medication, some chemotherapy drugs and hormonal therapy can raise the risk of a cancer. For example, some of chemotherapy drugs used to treat women with early stage breast cancer may sometimes lead to the leukemia. Okay, now we talk about treatment for carcinogenesis. There are many types of cancer treatment. The type of treatment that you have will depend on the type of cancer and how advanced it is. Some people with cancer will have only one treatment, but have many treatment in cancer. Now, diagnosis.
Okay, as we know, carcinogenesis like a cancer. So for treatment for carcinogenesis also same like cancer, which is surgery and chemotherapy.
Okay, for the first treatment of carcinogenesis is surgery. This surgery is help to remove cancer that is contained in one area. Surgery removes a cancer tumor. Debulking is used when removing an entire tumor might damage an organ on the body. Okay, removing part of a tumor can help other treatment work better. Okay, for the second treatment of carcinogenesis is chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is a powerful treatment that involves taking medication to damage cancerous cell. The goal is to prevent this cell from dividing and multiplying.
So, what do we know about the carcinogenic events that induced by the radiations? In brief, the present state of scientific knowledge gained from cell, animal, and humans, studies regarding exposure to radiation at low doses or protracted low doses tell us that carcinogenic events that the radiation is capable of causing more types of cancer in most tissues of the body. Next, there is no biological signature or fingerprint to tell us that radiation was the cause of cancer. So we also can know that there is a lifetime risk of developing a cancer associated with any exposure. However, the size of the risk may change with time. Next, we also can know that the age at exposure is very important. In most cases, if we are young when exposed to the radiation, the risk of a cancer occurring is higher than if we are an adult when exposed. And last but not least, the total body risk is not good measure of overall risk if exposure is for some reason concentrated in one or more organs but the whole body.